For the Look for Less challenge for the month of April, Yami, the Latina next door, is teaming up with Lindsay from Domer Home. Both of these ladies have some wonderful content on their channels, and I would highly recommend that you check them out. Their channel links and the link to the playlist will be in the description box below. So this is the project that I decided I'm going to try to copy. It is a wall hanging that you can use indoors or outdoors. I got it off of reallycoolgardenstuff.com and it retails for $48.98. I'm going to see if I can recreate it for much less, and I'm going to use it as an indoor project or an indoor decor item. I'm not going to hang it outdoors. For this Look for Less challenge, I'm going to go over all of the items that you're going to need to complete this project. You're going to need a pizza pan, and this is a large one. You can have any size you want, but this is a large one. It's 16 inches in diameter. I got this at Walmart. Now you can get pizza pans at the Dollar Tree, but they're flimsier, and I needed something a bit more substantial. And this was $3.77. You're going to need some spray paint and some sort of metallic, the metallic of your choice. This is my favorite, oil rubbed bronze. I apologize for the dogs barking. They are outside, but you can still hear them, but I can't make them stop. So we'll just try to get through this as quickly as we can, and hopefully they will stop. But this is my favorite spray paint. The oil rubbed bronze. I have used this many times in a lot of different projects, but the can that I had was all gone, so I did have to purchase more for this project, so I'm going to include it in the total cost. And this particular kind of spray paint I got at Walmart, and it was $3.96. Another thing that I purchased specifically for this project is this extreme glitter hologram paint. Now for this project I'll probably use barely any, like maybe a teaspoon of this, but I'm still going to include this in the cost of this project because I did have to buy this specifically for this project. This was not exactly cheap, but we'll use it for lots and lots of different things. I'm sure my daughter will glom onto it and use it in her projects as well. And this was $5.44. Now everything else I am using for this project I already had in my stash. So those were the only things that I'm going to count towards the total for this project. You're also going to need some gold paint, metallic gold. This is my daughter's and it's almost all gone. So she's used this a lot. You're going to need some sort of adhesive like E6000. This tube is almost gone. I can probably have enough to use for, with what's left. But in case I run out, I do have this adhesive as well. It's super glue, or compares to super glue, and I got this at the Dollar Tree. You're going to need a hot glue gun and glue sticks, a pair of scissors, some paint brushes, some parchment paper, some assorted stems from florals. Now I have this big tub full of florals, and I'm just going through there and I'm cutting off stems because I'm not sure how many I'm going to need for this project. But just assorted stems from florals that you already have on hand. If you use flowers for projects, keep the stems because you never know when you're going to need them. And then I'm using this bronze colored cardstock that I ordered off of Amazon. I used this for another project and I have a ton left. So I'm not going to count this as in the total because it was an item I already had. And I believe that is everything you're going to need to complete this project. Oh, there is one other thing. Forgot almost. You're going to need a template for a dragonfly. I just found this free off of the internet and printed it off. So now I think that is everything you're going to need for this project. So let's get started. So the first thing I did was traced the pizza pan onto some parchment paper. One piece of parchment paper wasn't big enough, so I had to tape two pieces together. And the reason I did this is because I wanted to kind of freehand the design that I wanted to use to bend the floral stems around so that I knew how to glue them together. So in the next few clips you will see me hand drawing out the design that I wanted and working with the floral stems. And here I am taking a large floral stem that I had, and I'm using a combination of E6000 and hot glue to glue that around about half the diameter of the outside of the pizza pan. This is what I'm going to build the floral stems off of. And I had to hold it with clamps. I was going to use alligator clips, but I could only find one that was big enough, so I ended up using my chip clips and clothespins to hold it on, and it seemed to work, and I let it dry overnight. And here is what the floral stems look like after I had it all glued together. Now I wasn't able to follow my sketches exactly, but pretty close. And I glued it together with lots of globs of hot glue. Now I will take a sharp X-Acto knife and trim all that excess glue off. Once I have all of the excess glue cut off and cleaned up to my satisfaction, then I will take this outside and spray paint the whole thing with that bronze spray paint. So while the stems are drying from the paint, it's time to start working on the dragonflies. Sorry that this clip is a little blurry, but it doesn't last very long. So I just traced the dragonfly out onto the cardstock and cut it out. Once they were all cut out, then it's time to add some paint to add dimension and to make them look a little bit more realistic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the gold metallic paint and I'm going to just outline the wings with the gold metallic, and I'm going to make like stripes along the body. Then I will take the glitter paint and make the wings look iridescent. It's the next day and all of the glue is completely dry, on this. And this morning I have taken a straight edge, like a razor knife, and a flat metal spatula, and I've cleaned up all the edges and gotten all the excess glue off of there. I didn't film that because it was a pretty tedious process and it took me quite a while. So I went ahead and cleaned that all up, and then I took this outside, and then I took the pan outside and I spray painted the back. That was this is sat for about an hour and a half, and so now I'm going to go ahead and spray paint this side. Now I have it sitting on one of my kitchen cooling racks with covered in newspaper because it is a overcast, cloudy day. It was raining earlier, and so I'm going to spray paint this and then bring it in the house to let it dry. Then I'm going to let it sit for a good long time, several hours, before I finish the process, because I really don't want to scuff the paint while it's still new. It's been several hours since I spray painted this, and all of the components are completely dry. And now I am using hot glue to attach the kind of web that I made from the floral stems. And there in the center of the floral stems, you can see I put a little piece of wood to kind of hold that center up. Because they were made with floral stems, they were kind of flimsy and it kind of wanted to sag down. So I just hot glued that to the pan and then hot glued the wires onto the wood, and then once all of the glue is dry, I will take it back outside and spritz it with a little bit more spray paint just to cover up that wood block and to cover up any other little extra spots that I didn't get covered well the first time. So now it's time to finish this up by adding the dragonflies and some more details with paint. And for the dragonflies, I'm going to take this pencil and I'm going to just slightly bend the wings up to give them a little bit more dimension and to make them look just a little bit more realistic. I mean, as realistic as they can be. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the wings and then hot glue the dragonflies on. hanger, I used a pop tab, and I've done pop tab hangers in the past numerous times. But for this project, since what I was gluing to was a very smooth metal surface, put a giant glob of super glue down, put the pop tab down, and then I put a huge glob of hot glue. That just gives it extra strength. And then because it's so flat against the tray, I went ahead and put on a small piece, you can see that, of floral wire. I just looped it in the tab and twisted it around so that it would be easier to hang it on the wall. Alright, so this is my second attempt for this hanger. The other super glue and hot glue did not work. I thought super glue was kind of basically the same as E6000, but it is not. So this is E6000. I just glommed it on there really heavy. I scratched the surface of the metal first, kind of give it some grooves to hang on to, and let this sit for 24 hours. I'm going to hang it up again, and hopefully it will work this time. I told my husband that if this doesn't work, I'm handing it to him and he can figure something out. And so far so good with that second attempt at gluing the hanger on. It's been hanging up for several days now and has not fallen. I have it hanging in my entryway, and I absolutely love how it looks hanging out there on the yellow wall. The contrast between the metal and the yellow is very nice. And here is how it looks hanging on a wooden surface. And here is a side-by-side comparison between theirs and mine. Other than the fact that my dragonflies are shaped a little bit differently, I really think it has turned out quite similar to theirs. And you would never guess that it's made mainly of old floral stems and cardstock. And here is the price breakdown and the savings. Theirs cost $48.98, and I'm sure they probably added shipping to that as well. Mine cost a total of $13.17, with a savings of $35.81. I want to thank Yami for hosting this challenge once again this month, and I also want to thank Lindsay for being her co-host. As always, I had a blast participating in this challenge. It is probably one of my favorite challenges to do. Thank you so much for joining me today, friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this DIY, and I hope I inspired you to do something similar with things that you can find around your home. We'll talk to you later, friends. Bye-bye.